This movie covers team security and is intended for the safety manager. By the end of this movie, the safety manager will be able to add, edit, and delete security teams, set module access for security teams, add, edit, and delete users, reset user passwords and logins, restrict user view by region and site, and discuss team security groups imported from version 5 databases. In this movie, we're going to look at two modules, the Team Security module and the Add Edit User module. These modules work together. First, security teams are created. A team is given access only to specific modules. A team could be human resources, training, safety, OHS committee, etc. First, set up your security teams, then assign users to the teams. Second, user accounts are created for people who exist in the People module. The user account is assigned to a team and can see the modules that the team security allows. Region and site viewing restrictions are set at this level. A user can see either all regions and sites, all the sites within a region, or a specific region and site. The two modules, Team Security and Add Edit User, are located under the Simply Safety Setup module. I'm going to click on the Team Security module, and it opens up as I have permissions to open it up. When I open it up, by default it goes to the Power User account. We can see that everything is green in the bottom part of the screen, so the Power User has access to all modules. If I pick the drop down, there's other accounts in here. SS Demo, that has access to all of the modules except Setup. IT Department has access to only the Setup module. Let's go back to Power User. There's a button here to add a new team, to delete a team. Now, all the members of the team must be removed from a team before it can be deleted. And if we wanted to set up a new team and we wanted to set all the switch boxes below to full or no delete or read only or no access, we could use this drop down here just to instantly change all the boxes below. The concept of adding a team revolves around the fact that you can create any kind of a team that you want, and you only have to do that once, and then you can add many members to the team over time instead of setting up individual security access for each user. Today I'm going to create a new team, so I'll just click on the Add Team button here. I'm going to call this team OHS Committee. And it's for OHS Committee member access. I've created that team. I'm going to select that team, OHS Committee, and I'm going to set everything to no access to start with, because we only want them to have very limited access. So I'm going to say that I'm going to give them access to all types of inspections. I'll turn all these checkboxes to full access, green, and I'm going to give them access to safety meeting minutes, and I'm going to let them link documents, and that's all I want to give to the OHS Committee. Okay, so now I'm going to click on Save. Then I'm going to go over to Add Edit User, and I want to add a user to the OHS Committee. So I can look up the user by their employee number, their last name. I'm going to pick the last name and pick Vanderslice. Now I need to create a username for this user when they log in. So I'm just going to make it easy for him. I'll say John Vander. And now I need to assign him to a team. I'll pick the OHS Committee team, so he'll have the right to look at all of those modules that we turned to green in the Team Security module. And then I'm going to restrict John Vanderslice's view to only British Columbia and the education site. So now he's been assigned to the OHS Committee team, so he can only see what is turned on for that team security, and he's only going to be able to see records from British Columbia and the education site. I'm going to save that record, close that module. Next, I'm going to return to the main menu, and I'm going to click on Change User. I'm currently logged in with full security permissions, but I'm just going to log in now as John Vanderslice. Now, as this is the first time that he's logged in, I'm just going to click on OK. He doesn't have a password because it hasn't been set up. So your users, you just put in a login, but they set up their own password. So I'm going to use jvander again, and then you can put a password tip down here if you want. Click OK. jvander again. Okay, now we're logged in as jvander. Now if we go into Team Security, we don't have access to view that module. And we don't have access to view the setup module. If we go into People, he also doesn't have access to that. But if we go to Workplace, if we go to Inspections, Air Quality Inspections, he does have access to that module. While you didn't see it, I've logged out as John Vanderslice and logged back in as the power user, so I now have access to all modules. So what happens now if John Vanderslice requires access to another module, such as corrective actions? We can't set that at the level of John Vanderslice. We have to set that at the level of Team Security. So I'm going to click on Team Security. I'm going to go to the OHS Committee team. Now keep in mind that anybody that belongs to this team, if I change this, is going to have these enhanced security permissions. So I'm going to say that I want John Vanderslice and everybody else that belongs to that team now to have full access to the corrective actions. So I just turn corrective actions on and save. Now, so anything that you change in Team Security is going to change that access for all members of that team. So if we wanted John Vanderslice to have completely different permissions, it might be more convenient to just create another security team and unassign him from OHS Committee and assign him to the new security team. Now what happens if John Vanderslice forgets his password? I'm going to click on Add Edit User. Go down to Vanderslice. And just notice the button at the bottom of the form here, Reset Password. So if I click that, that will clear out his password. So next time he logs in, he'll be requested to put in a new password. So in this program, your users establish their own passwords, and you can clear their password out here. So the next time they log in with this username, they'll be requested to add a new password. If you want to remove the rights of John Vanderslice to log into Simply Safety at all, the most secure way to do that is the delete button at the bottom of the form. That'll completely remove him from the security module. You can clear his password using this reset button, but he can just set it for himself when he logs in next time. So the most secure way to get him out of logging into Simply Safety is just to delete this record. The two fields at the bottom of the screen are used to restrict John Vanderslice's view by region and site. If we were to leave this or have created this with these two fields blank, he would have access to all regions and all sites in Simply Safety. Now if we wanted to restrict him to simply one region, Alberta, we just pick the region, leave the sites blank. That means he can look at all of the sites within the region of Alberta. But if we want to restrict him to just one site within a region, for example Edmonton, we'd select Edmonton within the region Alberta, and when he logs in, he'll only be able to see data from the Alberta region and the Edmonton site. If you need to delete a security team, you must first remove all of the users from the security team in the Add Edit User module before you can delete the team. If you need to change the username for a user, then you should delete the user and just recreate them with a new username. Version 5 users become teams when the database is upgraded to version 6. For example, in version 5, if you had a user named Billy Bishop, after upgrading the database to version 6, you now have a team named Billy Bishop. The same for user Henry Lai and Sharon Stone. They'd become teams Henry Lai and Sharon Stone. When the database is converted from version 5 to version 6, users in the version 5 database become teams in the version 6 database. This is done to preserve backward login compatibility. Users can continue to use their old login and passwords. To simplify the setup, you might create new security teams, delete the old users, then reassign them to the new teams. In this module, we've looked at adding, editing, and deleting security teams, setting module access for security teams, adding, editing, and deleting users, resetting user passwords and logins, restricting user view by region and site, and we've discussed team security groups imported from version 5 databases.